Hello, welcome to this 30-minute yoga flow where we're going to work towards our Hanumanasana, also known as splits pose. Now, the splits can seem really daunting, but we've all started from somewhere. And now whether you're deep in your splits or just coming into an early version of the posture, this is for you. We've all started somewhere, and the more we practice, the closer we'll get to the full expression. So come along and take a seat. We'll start our practice in a moment of meditation. So when you're ready, grounding your sit bones on the earth, or if you have a block, it's quite nice to sit on a block, the knees facing down, sitting tall through the spine, and placing the hands on the body wherever feels comfortable. Closing down the eyes, and just taking the first few moments of practice to really arrive on your mat. To begin to slow down the breath, making it a little bit deeper, a little bit longer, and a little bit slower. And as we slow and deepen the breath, we start to create more space in the mind. We invite the body to begin to soften and to really arrive here in this moment in time. So perhaps bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Just starting to feel this rhythm of breath. And we're going to take 3 rounds of deep, grounding, cleansing breath. So taking an inhale, allowing the belly to expand into the hand. The breath rises through the chest, the throat, the head. Imagine someone's pulling up the top of your head with a little string. Exhale through the mouth. Twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Releasing the hands. We're going to come onto all fours. And as we get to our all fours, widening the knees, sinking the hips to the heels, the hands come forwards, settling into our child's pose. Beginning to open into the hips, connecting back to the breath. And just allowing gravity to gently open the hips as we arrive, encouraging an element of flow rather than force. And coming to our all fours tabletop, stacking the knees under the hips, the wrist under the shoulders, long from the hips to the top of the head. And just steadying into the breath, finding foundations in the hands and the knees. And extending the right leg long behind you, flexing through the foot. The right knee comes to the right elbow. Inhale to extend. And exhale, bringing the knee to the elbow. Inhale, finding length in the leg. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. And this time the knee comes to the elbow. And we're placing the right foot outside the right hand, coming to our low lizard lunge, drawing the hips and the chest facing forwards. And we're going to take a few breaths here to arrive into the hips. If you need to take a little bit of movement, perhaps a little rock left to right into the hips, allowing this time, this space to gently settle. Bending into the left leg, drawing the heel to the right glute. Walking the hands along the left-hand side of the mat. The left hand is coming outside the left knee, extending the right leg to the top of the mat, and the right hand comes over the head, coming into our stargazer. Encouraging length and space in the right hand side of the body, then reaching the right hand up to the sky, circling it down towards the right foot, down to the mat and over the head, taking these big circles with that top arm. Inhale to lift, creating space in the chest, and exhale to circle down. Now both hands are going to come back to the top of the mat to frame the right foot. Right knee meets the left, tabletop is where we meet. Finding your foundations once again before we move on to the other side. Inhale to extend the left leg long, flexing through the foot. Left knee, left elbow as we exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, the knee comes to the elbow and we're placing the sole of the foot to the outside of the left hand. Low lizard lunge into the left leg. Drawing the hips and the chest forwards and taking a few breaths to begin to open up into the hip. Inviting a little sway of the hips left to right if that's what your body feels it needs. Gently loosening into the hips. Then bending at the right knee, the heel comes towards the glute, straightening through the left leg. The hands walk along the right hand side of the mat. Right hand places outside the right knee, left hand over the head, stargazer. Long line from the left foot to the tips of the fingers on the left hand. Inhale to reach the hand up to the sky. It draws back towards the extended foot, down to the earth. Inhale to lift. Exhale to circle, taking those big expansive circles with the arm. One more inhale to open and exhale to circle down. Walking the hands back to frame the foot at the top of the mat. Left knee meets the right, all fours tabletop, then tucking the toes, lifting the hips and finding your way to a downward facing dog. Settling through the breath, finding length in the backs of the legs and the arms. Now if you're wearing socks like me, it's time to take them off. Moving them to one side, settling into your down dog. As you inhale, draw the right leg up and back behind you. Bending the knee to open the hip to the right. Now we're keeping the arms and the leg exactly where it is. The right knee comes to the inside of the left. Then lifting it out to the side, up to the sky, then circling the background to touch. So we're taking these really big circles with the knee, only moving into the hip joint. So inhale to open through the hip, up to the sky, knees come to touch. Inhale to extend the right leg up and back behind you. Knee to nose, sole of the foot between the hands, dropping down the left knee, and Janayasana, low lunge. Now if you have bricks, you can bring the bricks underneath your hands, lifting through the chest, making it nice and active here. So we're pushing the hands into the bricks or to the floor. Then wherever you've chosen to be, we're going to inhale to reach the hands up to the sky, lifting through the chest. And with the next inhale, we're pushing into the right leg, lifting up and out of the hips, creating space. Then exhale to draw the hips forwards, opening up deeper into the hips. Inhale to push into the right leg, lifting, creating space in the hips, and exhale to deepen. Inhale to lift. Exhale to deepen. Inhale. And the hands are coming to the earth. We're going to come to our half Hanumanasana, our half splits pose. So straightening through the right leg. If you have bricks and you want to use them to bring the earth a little closer to you, you can underneath the hands. Now we're going to stay here for just a moment to begin to open, to release into the right hamstring, the back of the right leg. Lengthening through the spine. Then we're going to fold forward over the right leg. Can round into the spine if you like, or it's a hinge at the hip. Inhale to create length and space in the spine, and exhale we fold over the leg. Moving with the breath, inhale to create length and space. Exhale to deepen the fold. Option to extend the arms behind you like an airplane, keeping the depth of this fold. Option to tuck the left toes for a little more support. Feeling the full extension depth of this stretch into the back of the right leg. Keeping the breath smooth and steady. With the next inhale, lifting through the chest. Bending back into the right leg. Hips come forwards. Now bringing the hands back down to the earth or to the blocks. We're going to lift through the left knee. Keeping an active lizard lunge. An option to take a little rock into the left toes. Then we're going to extend through the right leg, keeping a soft bend and raising the left leg up to the sky, coming into a sort of forward-facing half moon. So the leg isn't coming all the way up yet, it's coming about parallel to the mat. Stretching the hands as far forward as they can go, so thinking really long line between the fingertips and the hips, and then the hips and the toes are coming parallel to the earth. Finding length in the body, gently easing into the back of the right leg. And we're going to move from our forward-facing half moon to our open, regular half moon. Right hand comes to the earth, left hand comes to the sky. You can place a block underneath the right hand. Even if you can reach the floor, it's quite nice for alignment. Now, option to look down over the right hand, or maybe challenge your balance by looking up over the left. Now, bringing the left hand back down to the earth, the right hand follows, standing splits. We're lifting the left leg up as high as it can go, keeping a soft bend into the right leg to avoid locking of the knees. Now, the hands can come forward for more support, or you can draw the fingers back, facing the back of the mat. Or if you want to come deeper, we can draw the right hand around the back of the right calf. Bringing the left hand out in front of you will create a little bit more stability and support if you need it. Or the left hand can just be down by the inside of the right foot. And we're going to place the left leg back down to the earth, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift through the back. Exhale to fold. Soft bend into the legs. Inhale, we rise through the spine. The hands, they lift, reaching up, tall. Exhale, forward folding over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway, then stepping the left foot back, the right foot follows, finding our plank pose. Staying here for a moment, then dropping down the knees, lowering the chest all the way to the earth. Inhale, lifting through the chest, cobra. Exhale, finding our downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up and back behind you, bending the knee to open the hip to the left. Then we're taking those big circles with the hip, so the left knee comes down to meet the right. Then it's going to circle out to the side as we inhale, up to the sky, and then circling back down to the inside of the right knee. And taking these big expansive circles with the knees, starting to create space in the left hip, and noticing if there's any tendency to rush. Can you keep it really slow? The slower you go, the harder it is, but the more beneficial. Inhale to extend the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, the knee comes to the nose under the body, placing the foot on the floor, and Janayasana, low lunge, dropping down the right knee. Drawing the chest forward, and meeting the posture with your breath. Now this can be really tight in the hips, so allowing each breath to really help the body to soften, knowing even though if it's difficult, we just stay with the breath. Inhale to reach the hands up to the sky, and sinking the hips a little further forwards. Keeping about a 90-degree angle in the left leg, drawing the right hip forward and the left hip back. Inhale to straighten through the left leg, lifting through the hips. Exhale to deepen into the stretch. Inhale to create space, and exhale to bend into that left leg. Moving with the breath. Inhale to lift, to create space. Exhale to draw the hips forwards. Once more, inhale and exhale. Inhale to lift through the hips, creating space, and the hands are going to come to frame the left foot, getting the bricks if you have them and want to use them. Then we're going to start to straighten into the left leg, half Hanumanasana or half splits. So thinking long straight line between the bottom of the spine and the top of the head. Inhale to lengthen to create that long line, and as you exhale, we're hinging at the hips. So we want the lower part of the torso to draw closer to the thigh, and then the head bows forwards. So So it's a sort of compression of the hip, a fold rather than a real rounding through the top of the spine. And staying in this depth of the fold or moving with the breath, whatever you feel is serving your body more. Now, if you've decided to move with the breath, it's this sort of undulation of the body. We inhale to create space and exhale to come deeper. If you've chosen to hold, we just allow the breath to do that work for us. Each exhale is an invitation for softness, for depth. One more breath wherever you are. Inhale to lift through the chest. Rebending into the left leg, the hips come forwards. Tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee, lizard lunge. We're going to push the weight into the left leg. The right leg rises up to the sky, coming into our forward-facing half moon. So the hips are both facing the floor. The right leg is almost parallel to the earth. Fingertips reaching forwards, thinking length of the body rather than height of the leg quite yet. Breathing into the space in the back line of the left leg, keeping a soft bend in the knee if you can to prevent locking of the joint. Now we're going to open up into our classic half moon, left hand down, right hand to the sky, opening out into the hip. Option for the left hand on a brick, or to look down to the left hand for stability, or up to the right to challenge the balance. Rooting down into the left foot, soft bend into the leg once again to help with that stability. Keeping the breath smooth and long. And the right hand's going to come down to the earth, full standing splits. And the fingers can be forwards, backwards, or we can take a hold of the back of the left calf. Now your leg might not be very high off the floor, or you might have a deep bend in the left leg, and that is okay. Each time we practice, we might be able to come deeper, or depending on the day, our body might be up for it, or it might find it more challenging. So meet yourself where you're at. It does not matter what this looks like. It probably or might not look like what I'm doing. That does not make it any less worthy. Arrive with the breath and meet yourself where you're at. And bringing the right foot down to the left. Soft bend into the legs, then deep bending into the legs. Coming up to standing, inhale to reach the hands tall. And exhale, the hands are going to come to the hips. Now I've stepped halfway down my mat to create a bit more space. We're coming to our extended hand to foot. Now option 1, extending the hand. We're lifting the foot straight to the hand, taking a hold of the toes. Now for a lot of people, this might be a lot. So option 2, we're just going to take a hold of the right knee. So we don't have to lift the foot straight away, we're just taking the right hand to the knee and then drawing the knee into the chest. Similar posture, both opening into the hip. Now wherever you've decided to be, little soft bend into the left leg for stability. Releasing the foot, everyone extending the right leg, lifting the toes, creating strength in the hip flexor. That one is horrible, so well done. Right foot comes back, left foot forwards, low lizard lunge, dropping down the right knee, and Janayasana. Now we're coming into a little bit of a drill here, similar to what we were doing before, but making it a little bit more active, and we're progressing into our splits. So pushing into the left foot and the top of the right foot and the right shin. We want to create this lift through the spine and this strength of pulling back through the left hip and forwards through the right. Exhale, we're going to fold over the left leg, lengthening into the back of the leg. Deepening into that fold. Inhale to rebend into our lunge, but we're going to shift the left toes forwards just a bit. Doing exactly the same, the hips come forwards. And we're going to try and create that resistance. So pushing into the left foot and the top of the right. Seeing if we can bring the hands to float off the earth, lifting through the spine. Now the deeper we go, the harder this will get. So if you need to bring your hands down, you can. Forward folding over the left leg. Coming back into our low lunge, bending into the left leg, shuffling the toes forwards. Now we're going to repeat this. When you get to your edge, that place that you feel like this is really as far as you can go, stay there with the breath. Now, a lot of these postures that really require a lot of deep flexibility, the key to them, I found, is much more about releasing the resistance than pushing into the posture. So wherever you're at, using your exhale, seeing if you can release just that little bit further, bringing that softness rather than a force. Now, if you want to go into your full expression of your Hanumanasana, drawing the hips down to the earth, option to come down onto the forearms, or fold the chest fully over the leg, maybe taking a hold of the left foot. Wherever you are, one breath. Now, you might be in your full splits, or you might be like, wow, that is ridiculous. I am nowhere near that. That is okay. We have all been at these different stages to get to the full expression, so meet your body where you're at. Your left knee comes back to meet the right, and we're finding our downward facing dog. Now taking 3 releasing breaths, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, exhale. Once more, maybe a pedal of the legs, and we're going to walk the legs to the top of the mat. Inhale to roll up to standing. The arms are going to stay by the hips this time. Tadasana, mountain pose. Now bring the hands to the hips onto the other side. Extending the left arm forwards if we're catching the toes. Taking a deep inhale and lifting the toes towards the fingers. Extending through the left leg. Option to bend into the knee and take a hold of the knee instead of the toes. Keeping a soft little bend into the right leg to keep this stability and making sure not to lock the right leg. Thinking length through the heel of the right foot all the way up to the top of the head. Now everyone extending through the left leg, holding with the strength of the hips. I know this is nasty, possibly one of the nastiest postures that can come into our practice, but it builds so much strength. One more breath. And release the left foot down behind us. We're going to find our way into our low lunge. Right leg forwards, left knee lowers to the earth. Coming into that drill to move into our full Hanumanasana. Option to bring the bricks underneath the hands, drawing the hips forwards, low lunge, Anjaneyasana to begin. Drawing the hips forwards, pushing into the bricks, pushing into the right leg and the top of the left foot and the left shin. Seeing if we can peel the hands away from the earth, length through the spine, really creating that contraction in the legs. Squeezing, squeezing. Now we come into this active stretch where we create this resistance, this hold, so that in a moment when we can release a little further. So staying in this posture just for one more moment, then straightening through the right leg, seeing if maybe you can keep the hands floating behind you in that sort of arrowhead shape, embracing any wobbles, they do happen. Now staying in this depth of the fold with the breath. Option to stay in stillness or taking a little undulation of the body. Inhale to create a little bit of space and exhale to come a little deeper. Inhale to lift through the chest, rebending into the right leg, shuffling the right toes forwards just a few inches. Dropping the hips forwards, coming into our deeper Anjaneyasana low lunge. Option for the bricks. We're pulling the right hip back, left hip forward, squeezing into the hips, pushing into the sole of the right foot and the back of the right leg. Squeezing through the legs, the hips, and lifting up through the spine. And then bringing the hands down to the earth, beginning to straighten through the right leg. Option to draw the fingers a little bit further forwards, taking this fold over the leg. And staying here with the breath. Remembering it's the exhales that allow us to come deeper through softening, not pushing. Now, if you're where you want to finish today, staying here with the breath. If not, we're going to come into another round, scooching the right toes a little bit further forwards. Active through the legs. Now, this depth is evil when we try and draw the hands away from the body. So if you need to bring them down to the earth, allow yourself to do so. And taking a fold over the leg, straightening through the back of the right hamstring, coming into the final extension of your Hanumanasana. meeting yourself where you're at. Now, if you're at an earlier stage, that does not mean you're not progressing. The fact that you've stayed here whilst we've kind of shuffled a bit deeper and a bit deeper means that your muscles are beginning to lengthen, all serving a purpose. Staying with the breath, if you're in your Hanumanasana, option to fold over the legs, maybe take a hold of the foot. Taking one more breath wherever you're at, you can do it. Inhale to lift, and now we're just going to sweep the left leg out in front of us, coming to our seat. Cheeky little Navasana here, boat pose, bringing strength into the core, closing off the hips. Long straight line from the bottom of the hips to the tops of the head. Now coming into our Gomukhasana, our cow face. So we're crossing the right knee over the left. Ideally the knees are stacked, but they don't have to be. If that feels like way too far for you, we could stack the shins coming into our fire logs, or even just a cross-legged seat. We're just starting to reground back into our seat. If you can stack the knees, I would advise that because we're really closing off the hips when we've opened them quite deeply today. Option to take a forward fold in your Gomukhasana, just to close off and to round the energy back in. And just beginning to slow down the breath, soften into the body. Really allowing the belly to expand as you inhale, and the body to soften as you exhale. Inhale to lift up through the chest, the hands can come behind you, and we're simply switching the legs. So the left leg comes over the right this time, Gomukhasana, hands come to the feet, taking a forward fold if that's where you want to go. Options again, fire logs where the shins are stacked, or a cross-legged seat. Wherever you are, we're going to take our fold forwards, beginning to close down from the practice. Steadying, slowing through the breath. And inhale to lift up through the chest. We're going to extend both the legs forwards. Coming to lie down on the back. Drawing the knees into the chest and interlacing the hands over the shins. Option to take a little rock on the spine, left to right, closing down the hips. Feeling the stability of the earth beneath the spine. And taking a hold of the outsides of the feet, coming into our happy baby. So again, this is opening but sort of compressing the hips at the same time. And we're going to release one of the legs. So keeping a hold of the right foot, the left leg extends all the way to the mat. The left hand comes to the inside of the left hip, and we're gently opening through the left hip. So a little bit of pressure onto the left hand. This should feel really nice on the hip flexor. And just steadying through the breath. And we're going to switch legs, so taking a hold of the outside of the left foot. Right leg extends, right hand comes to the right hip. Using a little bit of pressure to guide the right hip down to the earth. You can gently massage into the hip if that feels nice too. And settling into the breath. And releasing through the left leg comes long. Bringing the hands onto the body or both hands to the sides of the hips, we're going to move into our final resting posture, our Shavasana. Option to take one deep releasing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale to release through the mouth. And just starting to deepen the breath. Allowing the body to soften, to feel supported by the earth. And taking this final moment of practice to simply be here. To to soften and to be held. Now, we cannot have any progress without rest. It is not just a nicety, it is a necessity, so allow yourself this time. When you're ready, starting to deepen the breath. Taking any movements into the fingers, the toes, extending the arms over the head, pointing the toes long, deep stretch, drawing the knees into the chest, taking a little rock on the spine, and finding your way up to a seat at the top of the mat. And keeping your eyes closed for one moment longer if you feel comfortable to do so. Bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And closing our practice by connecting back to our breath and our heartbeat. Taking a moment of gratitude for our bodies that allow us to move, to experience, to try all these amazing things in life. We'll close our practice with one round of breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Well done, you made it. That was not easy. So take a moment to be proud of yourself for simply showing up. Now, if you like the practice, I'd love to know. So like, share, comment, subscribe for more. And I hope to see you soon. Take care.